So on this old exam question, they give you a box of a rectangular prism with side lengths x, x plus 2, and x plus 10. So you can, again, it's a word problem. You might want to draw out a picture, label some sides. So I'm going to have this x, x plus 2, and x plus 10. Write a function volume for the volume to express the volume in terms of x. Okay, so we got our volume's going to equal length times width times height. Doesn't matter the order. So we have x times x plus 2 times x plus 10. And then the second part, it says find all possible values of x given that the volume of the box is 96. So now we know that 96 is the volume. X times x plus 2 times x plus 10. Now what happened next is what hurt a lot of students on this exam, and I think as a result of this question they've changed some wording when they bring these exams up later. So if you would get a question like this, most likely they would add somewhere in here find all possible values, or they would start off by saying algebraically find all possible values. Because what a lot of students did at this point is they said, well, this is non-calculator. X can't be a very hard number to find. So if I plug in 1, well, 1 times 3 times 13, that's not enough, that's 39. I plugged in 2, and it works. So then they said x equals 2, and all of those students that year got 2 out of 5. And they had the right answer, but they didn't show any work. And because it was worth 5 marks, and the marking guide said, you need to show this work to get the 5 marks, it was, in a lot of our opinions, maybe a little bit harsh. Okay? Because it's non-calculator, it's not going to be 1.6392 or something crazy like that, because that wouldn't be fair with non-calculator. So what was expected? They wanted you to solve this equation. How do we solve any polynomial equation? We have to factor it. Well, this is factored. But what's the problem with this being factored the way that it is? It's equal to 96. What do you need things to equal when they're factored? It has to equal 0. So first of all, you needed to multiply this out. So you choose maybe these first two. Multiply those ones. And then you would multiply this out. So x cubed plus 10x squared plus 2x squared plus 20x. And then you could move your 96 over and make it equal to 0 and have x cubed plus 12x squared plus 20x minus 96. And this is equally, in my opinion, bad for a non-calculator question, because what are the factors of 96? Well, there's 1 and 96, 2 and 48, 3 and 32. There's a lot of them. Okay? Now, if you're using the remainder theorem, this is why you do not choose 96 first and plug it in without a calculator. Because what's 96 cubed? Right? So you tried things like 1 or 2, and most people were like, if you got to this, you already knew the answer was 2. So you plugged in 2. Say, let p of x equal this, and then you could show that plugging in 2 would be 8 plus 48 plus 40 minus 96 is equal to 0. So that means x minus 2 is a factor, which was what we knew already. And now, once you have that, and the argument was that the reason that would only be 2 marks is because the student didn't find all possible values of x. 2 works, but how do you know that that's the only value that works? What happens if there's other values that work as well? So I'm going to use my synthetic division. I'm going to put 2 outside here. I have 1, 12, 20, and negative 96. Bring down the 1, 14, 28, 48, 96, 0. And so now you could say that your function p of x is equal to x minus 2 times x squared plus 14x plus 48. And to find out if there's any other answers, we would have to factor fully. Now, sometimes this last one doesn't factor. Does it factor in this case? Yes. So, x plus 6, x plus 8. Which gives us the possibilities, if this is equal to 0, that x could equal 2, x could equal negative 6, or x could equal negative 8. So there's more than one possibility for x to make this work. However, based on the situation, can you see that these do not make sense in real life? Because our x was the height of our box. Can you have a height of negative 6? No. Can you have a height of negative 8? No. So the answer is only x equals 2. And this, by doing it algebraically, you have proven that that's the only answer. Okay? Algebraically at least takes out guess and check, right? And sometimes, I know that sometimes on my tests I say, feel free to use guess and check, but I'll only give you 1 out of 3. I'll tell you right away. You can use that method if you'd like, but that's what I'm going to give you on this question if you use that method. It's just hard because if you're doing a test and you get the answer and you plug it in and you check and it works, you feel like I've got it. Why should I do more work? So in that sense, it might have been a little bit harsh that way. It was also sandwiched between 2 one-mark questions. So you did a really simple one-mark question, felt good, got to this one, got x equals 2, and went to the next one, nice short answer. And if you didn't look at how many marks were awarded for the question, right, that can throw you off. Do you use marks, how many marks the question's worth, to give you a sense how much you should do? Right? No? It's like, write the answer to this. It's an English or a history question's worth 1 mark. You don't write a 3-page essay. Physics doesn't work that way. All right. So I will give you one similar to this on your test. Okay? Still wouldn't have got it right. Here we go. So the final thing, what are the dimensions of the box? The dimensions are 2 by 4 by 12. So what we do is we go to our actual box that we've drawn a picture. The 2 represents the height. 2 plus 2 would be 4. 2 plus 10 would be 12. And why would I lose a half a mark with that answer? Because I didn't add my units, so there needs to be centimeters, centimeters, centimeters. So careful for those word problems. Again, excellent that you went back, read the question. Was there anything I needed to do at the end that I haven't stated? And then remember units. Yes?
Why didn't you use 6 anyway, even though, I mean, I get that it's not useful in
Well, because what would I put as my answers for negative 6? And it would be negative 6 centimeters by negative 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. That would be your dimensions. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? It mathematically gives you an answer that's right with the math, but the situation doesn't make sense.